Slaying Goliath or David Tshabalala? What do I call you?
Slaying Goliath definitely sounds cooler.
I know, right?
As a brand, yeah. But I mean, I'm still a person with a real name, David Tshabalala.
David Tshabalala sounds like you do gospel.
Yeah. Yeah, the name and the surname.
There we go. How did Slaying Goliath come about?
But obviously, because I'm David, and also the Bible story, David and Goliath.
Yes.
I love playing with words. I love humor. I love like sarcasm. I just thought it was smart as well. It also speaks to my journey as well. At multiple points in my career, in my journey as well, I've had to sort of overcome like huge obstacles, like the unexpected guy from the Free State coming here to do big things. You know, it just speaks to. It immediately says what I do. Yeah.
That's nice. I never thought about it that way. I always just looked at it and thought, this is a cool name.
And I started it in 2013. Just the whole. That was like my first handle on Instagram. So it was even before the word slay. I'm always saying this. Before the word slay was like slang for, you know, doing something proper.
Wow,
so I was actually using it in that sort of like context. Like I'm slaying Goliath. Like I'm, you know, I'm like defeating him.
What does the Free State know about graphic design?
It's what does it know about the arts in general? Hey, it's still very. I don't want to say backwards. Maybe that's mean. I think that probably speaks to deeper socio-economic things. But I mean, in the Free State, you need to be a teacher, a lawyer, doctor to be even just respected as a career person. So it made sense for me just to leave home and
move to Bloem, right?
Move to Bloem to study in Bloem. The scene is actually a bit bigger there. I studied graphic design there. I worked for a newspaper place. It was depressing. I think ask any graphic designer like layouts at a newspaper is probably it's down there. Bottom of the barrel.
And nobody really wants to talk about it. So I'm surprised you're even mentioning it.
So actually that's why I started like just doing my stuff on the side. I've always loved drawing. They don't want to use like my cartoons in the newspaper. They were just killing stuff off the net like Zapiro to put in the newspaper. But I was like, okay, I'm not doing my own thing on the side. Actually, I'm just gonna build up my illustration portfolio.
Is that part of your alter ego then? Is that
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say that actually. Yeah, that's why I consider myself as a graphic designer, like primarily. I'm still like passionate about those like technical aspects of like design. Whereas illustration is, I suppose, it's more glamorous if you want to put it that way. It's very exciting for people. So I've just ridden that wave as well.
And like, I mean, I think most of South Africa has now gotten to know your style and what you do with your, what would we call it? Word art?
I call it a dictionary, but if you had to, so the concept is obviously I jump on current events and then almost like a Zapiro. I think that's the modern day Zapiro. I jump on like current events and then I just create work or art on my social media platform just to sort of like share that. So I'm also trying to make my social media, like my Instagram, like a TV channel of sorts. So people are almost like waiting for the next thing, you know, like you're waiting for something. I love that as well. So I just share a picture, I just illustrate a picture with the word, with obviously the...
How did that style come about? Just using the title and then having one of the letters being the image?
It was actually unplanned. I think the first one I did was, I've always admired, if that's the word, Thick Leonce. She's a... I nearly said super size model. What's the word? Plus size. Yeah. She's a plus size model, very popular on Twitter. And I just did, I just wrote the word thick and then she was the eye and then... So like when I started, it wasn't even based on current events. And then I did something with Lufuna as well, a very good friend, she's a stylist. And then something happened and then I just thought, how can I replicate, like people like this, or how can I like duplicate that, make it live? And then I was like, maybe if something happens, I should just do something all the time. And then it's been 2 years actually, and I think people actually caught on like the past year.
How many have you done so far?
So now I just have a library.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot.
It's close to 100 actually.
What?
It's close to 100. And I like it as well because it's like based on it's like my pace as well. I don't have to do something every day or every week. A week can pass and I can do nothing. And events can happen, but I'm just like, I'm also busy. I'm a graphic designer. I have extra work and clients.
That's not your only job. I think a lot of people think, this is what you're doing all day, you know?
But I like how people come now. Very popular people come as well. So they also push my following. I take my following very seriously as well, because I see it as an audience that has access to my work.
Exactly.
I don't just see numbers, and it's not an ego thing. It's like the more people see my work, the more potential clients I can get.
I want to take it there because I think social media, especially Instagram, has become it's an exhibition space, a 24-hour exhibition space for creative people. And I find that a lot of creative people don't utilize it, they don't use it properly.
With me, things worked out properly because my first job in Joburg, I was working at a social media agency. So I actually understood as well the concept of creating content that consumers can like relate to.
Yes.
I know like what trends more. I know stuff that's distinctly South African will trend more than stuff from overseas. So I'm also able to sort of look at my content and just like structure it properly. And brands have also like they've noticed that, so they've bought into my work and they basically just want the logo on what I do.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a great place to be in.
To simplify it, yeah. I've been doing it for 2 years, but like the past year, proper brands have like bought into my concept. So I think that's also.
I mean, you've just done amazing. A merch collaboration as well, which has been super successful.
Yeah, I think the Mr. Price thing was huge for me. I did the initial like design. It was totally like not my style. It was something like very dope, but not my style. And then Mr. Price came back to me and said, no, that thing you do with words and pictures, we want something like that. You want it to be you, but we want to sell it as Mr. Price. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Put myself on the shirt. Obviously, I ran with it. That stuff sold out. It sold out online as well.
Then, speaking of T-shirts and your work, you had a piece of art. Jacked, I guess.
Is
jacked the right word?
I think jacked is the right word.
Because when I saw that, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, oh, do I feel sorry for you? Or is that the greatest compliment?
It's a lesson as well, and there's so much behind it, like technically, legally speaking as well.
Yeah.
Because the reference picture I used, it wasn't necessarily my picture. It's an iconic picture of like Winnie Mandela. So it's also the photographer himself could say, but this is my picture that's used, but it's my original illustration. It would just be like a back and forth as well.
Yeah.
In that regard. But still, I mean, it wasn't a political party that stole it per se, but it was like one of the suppliers who they literally found something on the internet because it was trending.
Yeah, tell us about that. So what happened?
I did a piece on Winnie Mandela.
Yeah.
I just basically wrote like RIP, and she was the I with the iconic salute sign, or like the fist sign. And then, a few days later, I just see a famous soccer lady. She's always at soccer matches. She's wearing the shirt at her memorial. And I kind of saw it coming because, I mean, like Pearl Tusi said that, I'm talking numbers now, not even popularity.
Yeah.
Boy T said that. So already someone's going to pick it up. Yeah, that's millions of people already who've seen it. So someone from there is going to be like, let me just put this on the shirt. It's Mama Winnie. It's still those people as well. I think it speaks to education as well. You could probably you get some of the net and print it and you think it's fine.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of education in that regard, They didn't make the effort to sort of find out who the artist is, get permission.
But that's the risk that you take,
yeah.
I guess, with social media and putting your work out there. Did you see was there anything positive that came out of it? That situation?
I think for me the lesson was I'm only now trying to like trademark. Because having a registered company, that's just the start. That's just the beginning. But I'm just learning about trademarking like your stuff as well, like the Cipro. And like the prices it's not crazy stuff. I think in total it's 800-900 when you've just done everything. It's just like trademarking like your logo, ensuring everything is just copyrighted as well. That's what I've learned. So now with every piece of art, I just have that message, copyright 2018, like David Tshabalala.
Yes.
So apparently if someone takes or steals it, that's now, they've already put themselves in trouble because I've said this is my original artwork and whatever.
Tell me about the future.
Yeah, so I'm inspired by guys like Pharrell as well. Just also having your own like personal brand that's people know, but also collaborating with like-minded brands as well. I suppose bigger brands than he is, but when he just teams up with them, they just blow up, and he just connects with a different audience.
It always blows up.
I can consider buying G-Star raw jeans now. Where I never really paid much attention to jeans. The idea of just collaborating with big brands like Adidas and for me, that's still the ultimate. And it's funny because things like working with Mr. Price and whatever, if I'm that desperate, if I had to pitch now to them, I can say, but this is what I've done, here are the numbers, these are the people I connected. Again, it speaks to my background in social media. I can put together a presentation backed up by numbers. Collaboration with big brands for me is
that's the ultimate.
That's the ultimate thing.
Nice. And then like what's the legacy for Slaying Goliath or David Tshabalala, whichever one?
What I do is nothing. It's not new. Illustration is not a new thing. Social media is not a new thing. Sharing your work is not a new thing. But the legacy I want to leave is just the impact. How I've used social media just to sort of reach people with meaningful content as well. I know better illustrators than myself, but I know where they're lacking in terms of just sharing that stuff properly as well, using like the right platforms at the right time, treating that work as content, knowing to post like at 7:30 a.m. because everyone is stuck in traffic and probably on their phones, knowing when like not to post during business hours. Like I just know the technical stuff behind sharing the work that sort of leads to sort of like numbers and brands noticing and brands embracing that sort of insight. So for me, definitely like the legacy is like digital social media content design. I don't know if it's almost a new sort of branch of what we do. It would be great if that type of stuff is just like taught in schools as well, just sort of as part of the curriculum, to say you're a great graphic designer, illustrator, but you also need to know how to manage your different social media platforms with what you do. For me, that will be the ultimate, and something that I sort of inspired or like started or sparked. For me, that's the hugest thing. I think the biggest thing. Yeah.